I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Alex Mashinsky, the CEO of Celsius Network. Alex, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here again.
Hey, Ashton, great to be back.
Yeah, a lot has happened in the industry since we last spoke. I would first just love to kick it off with a refresher on Celsius Network for those who are not familiar yet, and how your team is bridging traditional finance and cryptocurrencies, and then we can dive into the details.
Sure. So just like your show, we've added a lot of users. We just crossed 700,000 users, 20 billion in assets. And wow. So definitely killing it out there. As if you remember, we were the first company to offer yield back in 2018. Before DeFi, before all these other terms. And in the beginning, people were basically questioning, how can you earn Bitcoin on Bitcoin? How can you earn Ethereum on Ethereum? So now we support 45 different assets. We've paid over $700 million in interest to again, hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. We have users from almost 200 countries. And I think set an example to everybody else. Been doing it longest, paid the most interest, have the most assets. So definitely leading the way in this second killer app for crypto. First one being store of value for Bitcoin, and the second one being yield, which is, I think, what's bringing a lot of new money and people into crypto.
Definitely. And yeah, great work on all of the growth. I know, DeFi has probably helped with that, and we can dive into that. But just being the first one in 2018, you're right. The yields are much higher than the banks. And people are like, how is this possible, right? And from what I remember you telling me is that, the banks are getting those similar yields, but they're keeping it all for themselves. And really, you guys are just able to build this out and really give back to the people that are actually, doing the investing, doing the lending and the earning. Is that right?
Yeah, like my shirt says, right? Banks are not your friends. And nothing has changed since basically for the last 100 years. Banks continuously have basically tamed all of us not to expect anything out of them. Right? You can expect them to charge you fees, but you cannot expect them to pay you any real yield. And DeFi is basically just showing you what is possible. So in the beginning, when we were the only ones out there paying, double-digit yields, people thought that we were a scam, that we were a hoax, and so on. And they were very skeptical, even though this is my 8th startup as a founder. I've raised over $1 billion from VCs and had $3 billion in exits. They were not convinced. They were like, just too good to be true, right? And now we have over 100 competitors who all pay more or less similar yields. So now everybody's going like, wait, I think I'm missing on the party. If 100 other people can do what Mashinsky does, then maybe he's legit. So. So I think, not everything is created the same. I think there's a lot of platforms that are much more risky than Celsius is. And what's special about Celsius is that we've managed to pay these high rates, but take very low risk, meaning we have not had hacks, we have not had rug pulls, we have not had scams or anything like that. And almost every other platform did.
Yeah, you're right. And since we last spoke, the DeFi has grown tens of billions of dollars of liquidity locked into these DeFi protocols. And some of these yields seem to be too high to be, it's like people thought that Celsius yield was high, but some of these DeFi ones are like in the hundreds or thousands, and it seems unsustainable. How has that impacted the growth of Celsius over the last year?
So again, the way that a lot of these platforms pay you a higher yield is by offering you a token, their own token, and calculating the yield of what it is. Now, let's go back in history and see which platform offered you to earn in kind or earn in sell, right? So we were the first platform to offer that before Uniswap, before a Compound, before Sushi Swap, right? Before all these platforms, Celsius really created this whole idea that you can create higher yield by using a token. and everything since was just being copycats. Very little new innovation, right? Everybody is just creating copycats, and as long as they grow their community, then the value of the token increases. But what's happening is that there's no room for hundreds of people with all their tokens, right? So I think the kind of like the really solid communities that have sustainable growth will continue to do well, and the ones that are not, their token value is going to decrease, and the yield, you thought you were making 18%, but really you were only making 8 or 9, and you were taking excess risk on those tokens. So the big difference again between Celsius and pure DeFi like Compound and Aave is that those are only living on Ethereum, so they can only deploy in the Ethereum blockchain. And at the same time, Celsius basically operates. Celsius has many different ways of earning yield: institutional lending, lending to exchanges. We operate on the Binance Smart Chain. We operate on other chains besides Ethereum, and we also have a mining and a retail lending business. So we have a much more broad source of income for Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or any other coin, right? Where pure DeFi can only operate on a very specific set of assets in a very specific blockchain. So if there's no borrowers there, the yield goes down to 1 or 2%.
Definitely, and I think that's a great note that to bring up, Alex, about being able to have that the service you're providing to multiple blockchains and to be able to have that all in one spot. You know, with Ethereum, not only are you stuck with just within the Ethereum ecosystem, but you're normally paying a lot, and the decentralized, you know, you're sort of stuck with paying higher fees, it seems, overall on Ethereum. So it is, but the main thing is that people see with DeFi is the high yields, and they don't think about those other factors, you know. So have you noticed with the increase in popularity of DeFi that people are not as attracted to centralized finance options, or has it really actually helped grow them as well?
And not at all. I mean, our community has never grown faster. We're setting new records every day. We're adding $1.5 billion a month now in new assets net. These are net deposits. So we probably have $3 billion in deposit and then $1.5 billion in withdrawals, netting $1.5 billion. So I would claim even right now that we are the fastest growing platform, yield platform in the world. You have to remember also that, for example, if you look at Aave or Compound, whatever, we would probably have $1 billion or more on each one of those platforms. So, so there is a little bit of double counting because we do deploy on other platforms. So there's definitely some duplications on, you know, if you added all the platforms together, there'll be, I think they're saying it's now over 100 billion, but really that number is lower because a lot of it is being duplicated. But as you pointed before, the one of the main issues that people don't pay attention to is that Celsius has no fees. When we pay you 10% on stablecoin, this is after all fees. And when you're doing your own DeFi and you think you're earning 11%, if you put the gas fees and the Uniswap fee and the withdrawal fee and this fee and that fee, that might be half of what you're earning, right? Also at Celsius, it's all long-term capital gains, because if you keep it for more than a year, you just get a 1099 from us, and you can report most of it as long-term capital gains. When you trade on these DeFi platform, each transaction is counted as short-term capital gains. So by the time you calculate your fees, your tax consequences and everything else, I guarantee you're not going to be earning more than Celsius, especially when, you know, Ethereum every day is charging between $100 to $300 per transaction. And you got to do several transactions to do farming or whatever. You can't compete. Celsius deploys 100 million a pop and pays the same $200 transaction fee. So, and you're doing that deploying $2,000 or $5,000, $10,000. So I think a lot of people who think they are DeFi mavens, if they did the net calculations, they'll find out it's not as exciting, right? You can't go to on Zoom and tell all your friends, "Oh my God, I killed it today! I did round robin 15 times and I netted this or that yield." It's not as exciting as that, but And, in this case, I think sticking with Celsius definitely pays more than trying to do it yourself.
Definitely. And I think, yeah, people forget about how those fees add up, especially when you have to do multiple transactions on the decentralized exchange. And Ethereum is unpredictable. Sometimes it's $50, sometimes it's $200. And hopefully they're solving that.
Yeah, just to give another example, like a lot of people that use Binance Smart Chain don't realize that when you try to convert the BETH to regular ETH, you're only getting 93 or 92 cents on the dollar. So you have like an exit fee, like a 7-8% exit fee to go back into Ethereum. And that's before you pay gas fees, right? This is just the difference between BETH and ETH. So all these little things that, people don't pay attention to add up. And at the end, you're really not, you're not making any progress. So
definitely. And I think this crazy growth that your team has had, it's played an impact on the Celsius token. And you mentioned that you have, sell rewards and in-kind rewards. Can you just talk about the Celsius token, how it's been affected positively by the growth of the platform and just how it fully functions within the ecosystem?
Yeah, so last year, Masari, actually it was in February, Masari ranked all the tokens and coins from last year, and we came out as number one, ahead of Cardano and Ethereum and Bitcoin, you name it. Any project you can come up with, Celsius had over 4,000% yield. So obviously choosing to earn and sell was the right decision last year. And since then, the token continued to appreciate, and and we are basically close to all-time highs. And so I expect, again, if you look at how fast we're adding users, how fast we're adding assets, all that translates into more earnings. And we publish on our app what percentage of our community is earning and sell. So now we're almost 62% of our community is earning and sell. Last year, I think the number was only 40-something%. So more demand for sell, more yield, right? More earnings, more assets. All of that translates into higher prices, right? So I think we are probably the largest, again, hodler community in crypto. And because of that, again, we're not a trading community. We're not a DeFi community. We're not a Cardano community. We're just a hodler community, right? The users that come to Celsius are long-term holders who want to basically earn Bitcoin on Bitcoin or sell and sell. When you hold sell token, you're earning up to 25% more, right? So you get a bump on your earnings. And so the 10% is suddenly is a 12.5%, right? And so on. So, and again, a lot of companies are now copying us. I know that some of our competitors copied us, not just the same token and the same bonus, but also they used exactly the same colors. Like they didn't even change they're like, okay, if they're using yellow, let's use yellow as well. If they're using green, let's use green. So, which is fine. Look, the competition are the banks who are paying you 0.1% when Celsius pays you 10%. That's 2 orders of magnitude more, right? So frankly, we're super happy that there are a lot of other entrants who kind of validate the space, bring different type of users, and it allows all of us to get more people to be convinced that this blockchain/crypto revolution is for real. It's not just a meme phenomena on, when, linked to whatever, Elon Musk or somebody else playing with Dogecoin. So this is a real utility. It's real income. We have a lot of people that live off the yield that we pay them every week, right? So this is not like, oh, I'm just going to gamble on a meme coin.
Definitely, yeah. And no, you're right. I have seen people myself that are living off of Celsius returns, and it is only continuing to grow. So, congratulations on all the growth so far. And this impersonation is the best form of flattery. So obviously you're doing something right there. And I know you're going to continue to grow, and I'm curious towards the future. Are there any major milestones or updates or big roadmap points that you're looking to hit throughout the summer of 2021 here?
Sure. So the biggest one is probably you can come and see us in person at the Bitcoin show in Miami, June 3rd through the 7th. So we'll have like 15 people there, including at least 30 or 40 ambassadors that are all getting together. We're going to party hard and in person in Miami. So definitely you should make it out there. As far as the product goes, we are launching a lot of new features. And capabilities. So we're launching a credit card in Q3 of this year. It's a card like nothing else that you've ever seen. I promise that, and the people will be shocked when they see the functionality. And we're launching basically swaps inside the app, so you'll be able to do all your transactions inside the app. We already launched the cheapest or most effective way to actually use your credit card. So we charge 5% fee versus 7% that Coinbase charges to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or sell token, and also adding a lot of other functionality related to taking a loan and supporting other assets. So we're adding Cardano next month, adding BNB. So we'll have probably something like 60 or 70 assets before the end of this year. And we're looking to break all records on deposits, right? So if you do the math of $1.5 billion a month coming in, before the end of this year, we will be larger than Grayscale or many other names that people think are the giants of the industry.
That's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to all of those updates and the card as well. I think that people will be excited to utilize that. So, we're running short on time, Alex, but what's the best way for people to follow along, start using Celsius, and follow along with these updates as they come out?
Sure. So you want to try it out. The best way is to download the app. Just look for Celsius Network, either on your App Store or on Google Play, and follow us on social media. So I do an AMA every Friday. So go on YouTube and look for Celsius Network, sign up every Friday at 1 p.m. Also watch some of the previous episodes. You can see kind of like the engagement of the community and us updating everybody on what's going on every week. On Twitter, at Celsius Network, or follow me at Mashinsky. And we're also obviously on all the other channels on Facebook, on Instagram, on all the other social media channels. And our website is www.celsius.network. And we have all of our promos there and stuff. So if you want to try it out, you can get up to $2,000 for just making a deposit at Celsius. So definitely check it out.
Oh, very exciting. I will leave that website link and all the community links in the description box below for the viewers. Thank you so much for taking the time, Alex. All the best with Celsius moving forward again, and let's follow up again in the near future.
Thanks, Ashton, and congrats on your growth, and thank you for everything you're doing, because, again, we need to continue educating people on the benefits and, eliminate the FUD and all the bad news that people are spreading around about crypto. So you're doing a great job bringing noobs to the platform.
Thank you.